Hi, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. A quick news update for you guys on how Pixar's upcoming series was actually nearly cancelled twice. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So coming up, we're going to be getting a brand new mini-series from Pixar called Dream Productions. This is a spin-off of the popular Inside Out franchise. And if you remember in the original film, there was a whole scene where they were kind of creating dreams while Riley was asleep. And this is going to be a series that kind of allows them to kind of broaden their imagination, and they're going to have 4 new episodes. Now, apparently, according to the director, this is kind of altogether, there's about 83 plus minutes of footage. So that means probably they're going to be about 20 minutes apiece, which I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting. I thought they might have been like 2 to 5 minutes short, so I was not expecting them to be so long. But the whole sort of project has had a number of issues while they're creating it. Now, the series is about the studio inside Riley's mind, where dreams really do come true every night, on time and on budget, thanks to the acclaimed director, Paula. Riley's growing up. Her core emotions are on the job, helping her navigate, but now Paula is faced with a nightmare of her own. Her signature combination of dreams featuring Rainbow Unicorn and a load amount of glitter just isn't working anymore. To try and save her career, Paula teams up with another director who is overly confident, and he's a daydreamer, and he's looking for the next big break. So with differing visions of what it takes for Riley's dreams to be successful, this reluctant pair come together to try and create the next tween dream hit. Now, this new series has been written and directed by Mike Jones, who recently spoke at IndieWire's Future of Filmmaking Summit in Los Angeles, where he kind of spoke about the upcoming series. And one of the things that's come to light is the fact that we have known for a number of years that Disney's been going through some major changes with cost cutting. Ever since Bob Iger returned as the CEO, getting rid of Bob Chapek, they've gone on a massive cost cutting measure, cutting off billions of debt and they've written off movies and shows. They've been cancelling stuff left, right and centre, drastically reducing the amount of stuff that they are making. This has also seen massive numbers of staff have been let go, about 7,000. And also this has actually impacted Pixar. About 14% of their staff, 175 people, were let go. And this has had an impact because originally, before the launch of Disney Plus and in those early years, Disney was kind of like, we want stuff for Disney Plus. So we want as much stuff as possible. Shows were kind of greenlighting everything, and they hired a load of people. But as they've been pulling back and realized that streaming isn't making them as much money as they want, and they were making too much content, that has all been pulled back. And this has drastically impacted on Dream Productions. In fact, so much that the director pretty much said that there was a number of occasions where they thought the project was going to be cancelled. They've already cancelled loads of other Pixar stuff, probably most of which we aren't really aware of, and we're very much probably in the early stages. But Pixar is very much focused now going back on theatrical releases. He went on to say, I don't know that we're going to do any more streaming after this because they took a lot of resources from other things at Pixar. While it's a pretty major company, because it spends so much time on these movies, it can't afford to do too much at once. It can really only afford to focus on 1 or 2 things. And so when Disney led us to streaming, it suddenly inserted something else in there. So we were kind of the underdog. Now, with this project being not necessarily a major one compared to the big cinema releases, it did mean that they kind of refer to this project almost like making an indie film. And that's where he mentioned about it being just over 80 minutes long, because it was like a small little movie. However, he did not have the resources that you might have got from having a big movie. Now, that makes sense because ultimately, if you're putting this show out on Disney Plus, just a series, it's not really making any money. And you look at like, well, how they kind of turn their attentions towards Inside Out 2 to make it a better movie. That pulled in $1.6 billion. That's a big difference in why they are focusing on theatrical releases, because it brings in money. The new project took 3.5 years to create. However, the series had 2 really close calls where the project's future was put into doubt as Disney started cutting costs and projects. And he went on to say, everyone felt that. We felt that. And also, like, every Pixar movie is on fire. Every single one that I've been involved with, every single one that I've not involved with, we will get to a point where we've been producing this thing for 2 to 3 years and suddenly the story is not effing working. You go, how is this not working? Like, how are we in so much trouble here? And because they were focusing all their efforts on Pixar movies, it did mean that they took people away from Dream Productions to work on both Inside Out and Elemental. He said this happens a bunch of times, and so we would let all of our people go to work on some other films that were in trouble and just pray and hope that we would get them back. And we would eventually, and then we would scramble and try to produce it. Now, in some ways, it does make sense what they've done, because you can look at Inside Out 2 was a big success, so pulling everybody in to work on one project worked. It brought in the money. Elemental, that didn't get as much money, but it was definitely kind of the stepping stone in the right direction with a really good story, and it did pretty well at the box office. Not amazingly well, but it wasn't a big colossal failure like the previous movies, and obviously as well we're putting a load of the movies out on Disney Plus didn't help. But we have seen Pixar pushing projects back. Elio was supposed to have come out earlier this year, now that's coming out next summer. Win or Lose was going to be coming out for this December. They pushed it back to February and actually kind of swapped it over with Dream Productions. I don't know if that's just because they want to try and make the most of this boost from Inside Out. But let's be honest, I think after Win or Lose, we're probably not going to be seeing any more Pixar series driving on anything onto Disney Plus. I think those days are gone. They're going to be back to doing 1 or 2 movies a year, maybe the odd little short here and there, but it looks to me like the series really just pushed them too much, making too many stuff, and we're just not going to see that anymore. The good news is Dream Productions is going to be arriving. It'll be dropping onto Disney Plus next month on the 6th of December, so we will get to see it. But it definitely doesn't sound like Pixar was in a great place. But hopefully now moving forward with just 1 project or 2 that they're working on at any given time, they can focus and more importantly, deliver us some fantastic, fantastic movies. And I think after the success of Inside Out 2 and Elemental, we can see that that was probably the best thing for them to do. But let me know what you think of this. Do you agree with it? Do you not? I'd love to hear all your thoughts on this in the comments below. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.